Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we are here with Ramen Shimizu and friends talking about happy, healthy habits. And we are so excited to have Robin in the studio today. You know, she always has such great guests for us. Robin, we just we just look forward to your episodes, and I'm sure that you've gotten a really special guest for us today. But before we do that, let me ask you, how are you? How's everything going?
Everything is great. I'm enjoying this hot weather, getting out and continuing my jumpstart that I started on my vacation on the walking and the exercise.
Oh, good.
So that's the one good thing about a vacation is it stops your normal routine, which could maybe use improvement.
Mm,
And what I did on my vacation is I started walking again
uh-huh.
and I decided that was going to be the jumpstart to my new physical health regime to concentrate on my physical health this year.
Yes.
So that's been an awesome thing for me. Like you started walking.
I started walking when I was in Texas, yeah. And I've been able to, bring that healthy habit home. And
Mm-hmm.
for instance, this morning I walked 3 miles. I started around 4 o'clock, ended around 6:30 because I don't walk fast. I just
Mm-hmm.
walk for,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 hours, and that's what I'm going to do for exercise because walking takes care of all parts of your body.
Yeah, and it's just I mean our ancestors knew that too, right?
Mhm.
Because that's all they did was walk
Well, I don't know if they had a
everywhere.
lot of choices, but okay.
That's right. Well, right. So today, the healthy habit is going to be just a really quick one because we have a really special guest with us this morning. Jill Weston is our guest, and she is our stress whisperer. And I'm
Hmm.
going to introduce her first, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the science behind what she does. And she'll expand on that when she gets on. But so Jill Weston is our breathing, meditation, stress guru is what I like to call her. She laughs at me when I call her that, but she uses her calm vibe and healing voice to help people pause, refocus, and remember their heart's desire. She maintains a safe, healing space in all levels and meets people where they are at, as respecting their current physical and emotional state. She facilitates down to earth mindfulness, movement, and breathwork practices, specializing in yoga nidra. Her business is called Breathing Space and is born out of a lifelong guiding principle to be of service. Jill has been teaching yoga nidra since 2012, certifying through the California College of Ayurveda with Dr. Mark Halpern, and returning her coursework and hosting yoga nidra teacher training since 2018. And she is also a dynamic mindfulness facilitator through the Niagara Institute. We won't introduce her, I mean, we won't bring her on just yet because I want to talk about this little thing that I found last night called with the breath work. There's so many benefits, and there's so much science behind it. And I found this one little article that talks about how we can release toxins out of our body
Uh-huh.
through our breath work because as we breathe throughout the day, we
Mm.
tend to breathe in everything that's in the air, right? We have dust, bacteria, various pollutants, all of that is coming into our body. And through breath work, we can learn how to properly help these new toxins leave our body. And also, it helps alkalize your body pH levels and helps us avoid, health problems. And so, the science behind it, there was a 2020 article from this uh, scientific magazine that said about 50% of the toxins we inhale are meant to be released as we exhale. So, deep breathing allows us to strengthen our diaphragm, allowing us to breathe in more oxygen and clear out more carbon dioxide. It also helps improve our lymphatic system and generate more oxygenated rich blood, which
Mm-hmm.
assists in our body circulation. So, Jill brings us all kinds of really great techniques
Mm-hmm.
on breath work. So, let's bring Jill on and then she can expand on what she's going to teach us today, which is about fear.
Ah,
Yeah, it's a very new subject for us this morning. Hi,
yes.
Jill.
We are playing musical chairs right now, Jill. Just a second.
Can't
Okay.
hear. Can't
Uh,
hear.
I'm good.
yeah. I'm sorry. I had to mute it, Jill.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I say I have no fear of being moved around musical chairs. I'm just breathing, as Robin said. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for unmuting me, Terry.
Mhm.
Yes, so today we're going to talk about fear and have an activity. Breath work will be a tiny bit of it today.
Mhm.
So breath work is amazing. I'm not a scientist, so when people say it releases toxins, if there's anyone out there listening that would challenge that, look to the article. But what I do know for sure, the way I was taught, that's part of the reason for inhaling or exhaling through your nose when you can, because of your nose hairs. So
Uh-huh.
your nose hairs are doing some filtering, they're warming cold air, and that's of benefit. Again, I'm not a scientist, so there's some things that when I follow research, I do believe it because somebody smarter than me figured it out. But that's part of the purpose sometimes when I coach people on breathing through the nose. It's also more mindful. But literally, you have nose hairs and different little tiny apparatus in your nose that are helping filter that.
Mm.
So today we're going to talk about is fear a factor? And a lot of what I do is work with people all the time to help them through fear, through anxiety, different barriers. So today, what I hope listeners hear and access eventually is fear keeping you from your mental, physical, and financial wellness. So you may be saying, well, why is this woman talking about fear? This is Healthy Happy Thursday. You're going to see why. Because usually I lead a meditation or breath work, but I read this amazing book the other day and I want to share with you. So, again, is fear keeping you from accessing mental, physical, and financial wellness? Sometimes we think, oh, I don't have enough money in my purse, my pocketbook, in my checking account. I'm not a tech guru. I don't have support on how to write a business plan. All of that is important. But if you are fearful of taking that first step, or if
Mm.
you have fear writing out your business plan or producing your product or service, it's not going to happen. So
Mhm.
if you find that through the years, or if you're just getting started in business, you've been stuck, if you're up against the same issues, the same thoughts, and the same problems, both in business and personally, I feel like I can help you today. Sometimes when I meet with people, they say, well, I've always been anxious, and I especially get anxious when I think about X, Y, and Z. I'm fine normally, but when I write out my business plan, when I think about being on the Biz Chick show, when I, excuse me, think about writing an email or picking up the phone to talk to a client, these thoughts start to come into my head. And typically it's the same thought. So again, I help people all the time to work through issues and barriers. It's a really familiar process for me. And I have some great ways that I think that help. But the other day I was listening to this audiobook, and the way that fear was presented, it really inspired me to talk about some issues. And
Mm.
for me, I know my fears. I was really amazed at the fears that are typical for other people. So, what's the book? You probably want to know. As I was describing it before we got started, Terry did say, she's like, oh, what's the book? So, the book is called Big Magic: Creative Living Beyond Fear, and it's written by Elizabeth Gilbert. I'm going to summarize how fear can be a factor, and then I'll share the effects of fear, and then I'm going to create or share an exercise to identify um, and help you move through at least one fear. And if this feels too fast of a session, please go back and listen to the replay. and know that you can slow all of this down. It is not meant to cure you or fix you in one setting. It just gives you an idea to tap into that. Okay. So I'm going to share a quote from the book, and then I'm going to summarize. Excuse me, I won't read through the book. And then I'm going to give it another example that I just found this morning on my Facebook feed. So here's how the quote goes. Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you? Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you? And then in the book, she goes on to talk about, or do you surround yourself or do you swim through fear?
Mm.
And then she identified a long, long list of people's fears. I know what some of mine are. Some of you know the story. When I first started doing yoga nidra, I had this thought, this fear in my head that my voice wasn't good enough. I did stand-up training for a long time. I did presentations, a good part of my life. But I always had it in my head, oh, my voice isn't that interesting. It's too monotone, blah, blah, blah. So when I went into business and people kept saying, oh, I love your voice, I love your voice. Sometimes I would literally cover my mouth when I would talk about what I did. And I had this, not exactly a fear, but this thought that was rampant. So I'm going to actually read off the list of some of the fears that Elizabeth Gilbert identified in her book that she wrote, and see what sounds familiar for you. So as you're listening to this list, see what sounds familiar. A lot of people have a fear of rejection, ridicule, failure, or being ignored. Rejection, ridicule, failure, or being ignored. Then there's the piece of, well, I don't have enough certifications. I don't have a degree. I don't have enough training. I don't have as much training as Terry. You may also have a theme that I don't have enough time, talent. Oh, I don't have the money. Oh, but I don't have as much support as other people do. I'm not in the Biz Chicks Club. I don't have enough knowledge. Oh, I just don't have enough energy. I sit here and I think about what I want to do, but I'm too tired. People also have fears. Elizabeth Gilbert says that my creativity is gone. 5 years ago, 5 months ago, I was creative, but not now, not in this season. Nothing I do works. I've tried it before. It doesn't work. I tried to write the book. I tried to launch the product. I tried to design something. I tried the podcast. Nothing ever works. And think about what we would do if a child said that. When the child can't ride the bike, when the child stumbles over reading. But we do this, nothing I do ever works. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too. It's just a silly dream. Who would ever want to pay me to teach them how to breathe? Who would ever want to take time to come to a meditation class and lay down and do nothing? Another fear that she talks about from the book, someone already did it, someone already created it, someone already sold it. There's no room for me. There's no market. Someone actually did it better. I could never compete with Starbucks. Why would I do a podcast about helping women with business? Biz Chicks already exists. There's no room for me. I don't have the space. I don't have the equipment. I don't have the workspace. I don't have a fancy studio. I don't have a fancy microphone to podcast in. As you look around, I am in my closet, and I had someone out who came and created a U-shaped rod. So these are all curtains behind me. And when I pull the curtains back, it's my clothes closet. My lighting is a lamp. I went out and bought expensive lighting. My lighting is a lamp. So I have to get over that. Well, I don't have the right space. So those are some of the fears that she cites. And then I want to read what I came across on Facebook that I think was my helper this morning. Completely unrelated, but related. So it's a blog about a person moving to a different country. And they say, I felt like such a loser. I had failed. I had failed to buy a shiny new car every year because everybody else has one. I failed to find a job with a pension like everybody else does. Get a job with a pension, retire. That's what you're supposed to do. I failed to find joy at the mall. The fear of, well, I don't feel good. Well, I'll go shopping like everyone else. I failed to understand fashion. I failed to understand why I was working 3 jobs to pay for a loft that I really didn't enjoy. So there I was at Mexico City Airport with all of my remaining possessions, wondering what in the world had I done. And guess what? The move was the best thing ever. When I finally stopped feeling terrified, when my stomach settled and I looked around, I arrived here and felt the sun on my face and noticed that no one cared what brand my clothes were. No one cared about the shiny car. So that's another example. That's why I was like, okay, the universe wants me to talk about this. This is what I'm supposed to be talking about. So think about what all that fear does to your mind and body. Robin just talked about the benefits of one benefit of breathing. If you are so caught up in your fear is literally strangling, not literally, your fear is metaphorically strangling your breath, the energy in your body, the energy that keeps your heartbeat going. It can affect organs as well. So we say, okay, well, I'm really stressed because of world events. I'm stressed because I have a cancer diagnosis. But the little tiny fears that are in our heads that are talking to us will also do damage. So they can literally suck the life out of you, suck the creativity. You're either speaking about the fear or you're living it out loud. So sometimes people say the fear is not a big deal because it's quiet. It's not there every day. I don't have to journal about it. I don't have to go see a therapist, but it's there nagging at you. And then I know people that talk about their fear all the time. So here's an example. If I said, Robin, you should really, like, you're ready to move to Hawaii. You're ready to launch, your neutralizing air machine. You're ready to launch that book. You're ready. Robin is trained in Yoga Nidra. You're ready to lead those Yoga Nidra classes. And let's just say that every time I go to coffee with Robin or every time I talk to her, she sends an email, she responds with a, yeah, but, I can't lead Yoga Nidra classes like you do. I can't write a book like Elizabeth Gilbert did. I can't move to Hawaii like that person moved to Mexico. I'm not smart enough. And I start hearing from Robin, I'm not smart enough. Or I hear I don't have enough. Oh, I already tried that. I just really fail at everything. So I'm a listener for people's fear or that theme. And I really try to support people going, well, what if that wasn't true? What if you decided you don't want all that wear and tear on your body anymore? In Chinese medicine, and again, I'm not an expert, but in Chinese medicine, people talk about emotions affecting certain organs. And again, you can look this up. I'm not an expert. The spleen very often is associated with worry and emotion and insecurity. The liver is often associated with anger. The gallbladder, too, can be associated with anger. There was a practitioner that I still go to fairly often for body work and help. And I remember he told me one day, and it was when I was making some decisions about my business, he said, I feel like there's something a little going on with your gallbladder. And I was like, oh, I don't have typical gallbladder. He's like, oh, hang on, like, don't do the but. Yes, but listen. So I was like, gallbladder, what does that have to do with anything? He said, think about the word gallbladder. He said, do you have the gall? Do you have the willpower to do what you need to do in your business? And I was like, what? So that made sense to me. He's like, call forth your energy, eat differently, do what you need to do, and have that gall, that willpower. Think of, if that's a little too, you're like, I don't know about Chinese medicine. Think about your heart, emotions of the heart. What do we talk about sometimes? Oh, my heart is so heavy about making that decision. I just can't be creative. I don't feel blood flow. Blood flows because of the heart. So think about when your heart feels heavy, your heart isn't in it. I don't feel creative. My heart's not in it. So let's get well. and offer the body some relief. Okay. So what I want to next get into is there's another quote from the book, and that quote is, "Something wonderful is sheltered within you. Something wonderful is sheltered within you." And in the work that I do for breath work or even the guided meditation yoga nidra, we literally talk about shedding, getting rid of, unpeeling, moving off things that are in your way, because we want to get to the wonderful. Okay. So we're going to excuse me, move now to figuring out what's your theme. And I'll go back to the list a little bit of, I don't want to do my project. I'm scared to move forward in business because I'll be rejected, ridiculed. I'm scared of failure. I don't have the talents. I don't have the tools. It's just a silly dream. So what I'm going to do is walk you through a very short activity to see if you can identify what your fear is, what your theme is. What do you tend to say most of the time that gets in your way? Okay, so it's going to be not as meditative quality maybe as usual, but I want you to use a little bit of your visualization to figure out what is it that's in your way. So go ahead and take a breath in any way that feels comfortable. Because I don't want you to fight or think that it's fancy. Just take a couple breaths. And then if you feel to, you can breathe in through your nose. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders and let that breath out. Take an easy inhale in through your nose. Relax your breath. And let that breath go. And now I want you to slowly close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, you can just keep a soft gaze. Relax your fingers, relax your hands. Let your arms be heavy, relax your shoulders. Now I want you to slowly visualize that you're looking at a movie screen or a big TV screen. And right now the movie screen, the TV screen is blank. There's nothing on it. And then slowly I want you to fade in your fear. Slowly start to see words or a situation occur. And that's your fear. That's your self-talk. Maybe about your business, maybe about a project. I'm too old, I'm too young. I don't know how to. Things don't work for me that way. What is your thing? And see it more clearly on that movie screen, on that TV screen. Maybe it's big, bold letters. Maybe it's in color. I know that it's not real, so if there's a little anxiety, that's okay. But see however your fear presents itself. I'm too old, somebody already did it, it's a silly dream. You know you can't do that. You know you're not, right? And then allow that fear to fade. So maybe the letters get smaller, the screen gets a little fuzzy, you can't see it as well. Just let it fade a little bit more. It's not as clear, it doesn't feel as strong, it's still there. And now I want you to very gently open your eyes. And if you have a piece of paper near you or even your phone, or just use your recall, I want you to write down or to say to yourself, I am uncovering the creative part of me. I am uncovering the creative part of me. I am uncovering the courageous part of me. I am uncovering the courageous part of me. I am finding my something wonderful. So you can write down all of those or any one that feels good for you, or create your own statement. about uncovering, about finding the something wonderful that's sheltered in you. And then when you are ready, you're going to close your eyes again. So write your statement about finding your wonderful, letting go of that feeling. And gently close your eyes again. When you're ready, and see that TV screen, that movie screen. And now you just faintly see your fear. It's not in big letters, it's not rolling across the screen. It might be tiny, tiny letters in the background. And what you do see more clearly is your creative or your courageous theme that you spoke or you wrote. I am creative. I do have peace. I can figure out how I'm doing. I will take this next step because I am creative. I have enough for so see clearly creative, courageous self for your actions. And then if you can, pick one of those actions, wherever pops up, like, yes, I am smart. I can create one page of my business plan. When you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. If you're ready, and see how that feels in your body. To have uncovered that theme and maybe replaced it. And remember, this is just a first step. You can play the audio, you can contact me. But moving out, making that image, making it fear a little bit crazy, and coming back to the something wonderful that is sheltered in you. When I first started certifying in Yoga Nidra, for me, I loved the results. I loved how practical it was, and the helper in me right away was like, "Oh, I want to help people. I want people to experience this." And then that fear, I can't teach these classes. My teacher's the director of the California College of Ayurveda. And I had to go, he actually shushed me. When I went back years later, because he offered a training for trainers to teach people how to do this. And I thoroughly enjoyed the course, and I'm not a big person to cry, but at the end, he's like, "Okay, go forth, go do this." And a couple of people were like, "Yeah, we're ready." And I'm sitting there, and the tears just started. Dr. Hu was like, "What is wrong with you, Jill?" I was like, I don't think you should teach us. I don't think you should allow us to do. You should be the only one." Guys are like, "I can't do this." He's like, "What is wrong with you?" He goes, "You are one of the most grounded, stable people." He's like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "Well, I can't do this like you can." He's like, "That doesn't even matter." He's like, "What are you talking about? That's like, that doesn't matter." And I had to think, okay, how did I make that matter to me? Here's my teacher saying, no, I'm like, go do it. And I'm there blubbering, "I can't do it like you can." Ah. Fast forward 11 years later, I have a business and people want me to do this for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah, I want to give you again a reading out of the book, a practical activity, what is still real for me sometimes today. Still, when people say, "Oh, I love your voice," I'm like, "Thank you very much." But my inside voice is still like, so it's a constant work in progress. All right. So that is the very quick snapshot version. Sometimes that could be about a 4-hour, 2-hour workshop. But hopefully it made sense. And again, summarizing, we all have these fears in us. They talk to us all the time. They can wear us out emotionally, physically. And what I highly recommend is do some type of activity that helps you tap into, that helps you identify that fear. You might ask friends, "What do you often hear from me when I talk about my business?" And then find a way to make that fear smaller. You're not making it go away. You're not negating it, but you're wanting something wonderful in you to be unsheltered. So, ladies, if there's enough time, maybe you can hear from view to see if there's any questions from anybody.
Okay. Um, Robin, I experienced an audio issue during the meditation where your voice was so soft we could hardly hear you. So, can you turn your audio up just a little bit, Jill?
Sure, my apologies.
It's okay.
It's all. How about now? Is that better? It's
That's
all.
much better. Yes. Okay.
I may have gone into more of my
Yes.
meditative voice.
And you tend to lower your voice. Yeah. Uh-huh. But we understood what you were saying to us was to
Yes.
make those spheres smaller
Yes.
and then do it anyway.
Yes.
Do it, skirt.
Yes.
I love the story you told about your teacher explained to you that you could do these things. So we heard what you said. It's just very soft. Robin.
So Melissa Gilbert is the actress. Melissa Gilbert,
Yeah,
the
but this is
So she's the author. She's the author of the book as well as the movie Eat, Pray, Love. So it's a
mm,
Gilbert. She wrote Eat, Pray,
okay.
and then she has the second book out.
Okay, great. You know, it's really interesting because when you talk about fear, I feel like as a person I don't have any fear.
That makes
But the minute you started listing out all the thing, wait a minute. I guess I do have fear, but you know, I don't think about it in that way. I look at it as other adjectives like shame or insecurity, or but it's all kind of the same thing, isn't it? The fear is fear is huge because it covers everything, really.
and I'm a person for the sake of the discussion today and activities like coming out of your fear. I'm
mm-hmm.
not as concerned with what we call it, and in some professions that is important. But I tell people whether it feels like fear, anxiety attack, panic attack, just think of barriers, things that are in your way. So if it's,
Right.
for example, shame that I don't measure up enough to start my business or do one aspect of my business, I don't care what the word is, there is something that is
Hmm.
covering your wonderfulness.
Right.
And whatever is comfortable, like maybe for you, it resonates more to go, oh, I'm visualizing my shame, do that. I don't use your own words. Again, I use the example. And again, my apologies for being so quiet. But with the little guided meditation or visualization, it was on a movie screen, or I also said TV screen. If you're like, I haven't been to the movies in years, like that doesn't work for me, picture it on a post-it note, picture it on a 3x5 card, picture it on a billboard. It's just the visualization. So do it in a way that's familiar for you, because otherwise your fear steps in again. Oh, well, I can't do it because I can't do this activity because I can't remember what it's like to be at the movies. Okay, that's your ego and your brain in there still keeping you from your wonderful. Do it in a way that feels good for you. If you don't like to meditate, if you don't like to visualize, find another way to see if fear is a factor and do something with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I think Coach Karen calls it sneaky fears.
Yes.
She calls them sneaky fears, things that we don't realize are actually fears.
Mm-hmm.
Fear can be very, you know, camouflaged, if
Yeah,
you will.
absolutely. And they
Mm-hmm.
can be tiny. That's the other thing. In the book, she gives a beautiful example of a woman who I forgot what her full time profession was. She's always longed to ice skate, I believe. Ice skate. No, it's ice skate. So she conquered that fear, ended up in a class with a bunch of little kids. And so as I'm listening, I'm like, oh, she probably went on to be like a world famous ice skater. And on purpose, the author, Elizabeth Gilbert, was like, no, she kept her day job. She kept doing what she was doing, but she continues to skate. So it doesn't have to be a fear that you stop your certain process of producing income. You don't have to up and move to Hawaii. You don't have to become a yoga nidra teacher like me. But can you step forward with one little piece of your business or one little piece of what personally would make you happy? So that was a nice message in the book too. It seems we think that we have to conquer all these
I'm
things.
sorry, that was the message in the book. What?
The message in the book was you don't have to do anything that big. So if your theme is, I'm really hesitant to talk to people, but I want to be a public speaker, maybe you go talk, maybe you have a group once a month with 5 of your friends, and that's your public speaking. You don't have to go give a TED talk.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be that big. The magic is in seeing your fear and uncovering what your wonderful is. So it can be small.
All right.
Well, I'm going to pick up the book because I'm in between things right now. I'm reading a thriller,
Oh,
and I like to have 2 or 3 books going at the same time,
Mm.
so I can kind of pick and choose what my mood is like. So I will pick up that book. I've been looking for something to read in the self-care world. So
Mm.
that's great. Thank you for that, Jill. It's called The Big Magic
It's called, yes,
by
Big Magic.
Melissa Gilbert.
Mhm.
I looked it up on my phone just real quick, and there's a lot of stuff out there on it.
Yeah, Big
So
Magic, creative living beyond fear.
there's
So
creative living beyond fear.
thank
Yes.
you all for listening. If there's any questions out there in any of the audiences, especially if you're on replay, I'll come back and check the messages. But you can also reach out to me, and Terry, I think, is going to tell you
Yeah,
how to do
I'm
that.
going to show this right now. This is Jill's website, ourbreathingspace.com, and I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you the actual website so you'll know when you're there. Okay. Can you guys see that? Okay, good. So that is her actual website. And then if you're looking for her on Insight Timer, I'm going to put that up so that you can see insighttimer.com/Jill Weston. You can find her classes there as well as on Our Breathing Space. And I will see if I can pull up the screen share for Insight Timer.
And Insight Timer is a really great free app. There's a
Mhm.
bunch of different other teachers besides myself, and we have pre-recorded sessions and then also some live sessions on it. It's donation based, but the app itself is free.
And it's good to see that you're out doing your classes in person now, Jill. I can see you've got one going on today.
Yes, and we have in person, online still. I'm collaborating with a couple people on some sound healings and yoga. And again, really just trying to look at, what do people need? How can I be helpful? Whether it's an outdoor class, online, or in person. So if you're not finding what you need, let me know, and I'm likely to create it for you.
There you go. So, guys, I want you to know that we're going to put these links in the chat for those of you who will be watching on the replay, and those of you who are watching live. I'm going to go ahead and put those in the chat, in the comments, so that you'll be able to find Jill. And we want to thank you, Jill, for your time, for taking time out of your busy day. If you're looking to, what would you call it, decompress, you want to contact Jill, because we always say we like to chill with Jill. Jill just helps us get centered. Um, and every time she comes, I find myself experiencing more clarity, more peace, a calmness. And so if you're looking for those things, you need to seek her out to find out how to get those things working in your life better and more consistently. and in some cases, just to get started.
Mhm.
So we put that contact information in the chat, and we hope that you will take advantage of it. Thank you again, Jill, for all you did, especially talking to us today about fear. Fear is a biggie, and like you said, we don't even recognize it sometimes because it's such a chameleon.
Mhm.
That
That's a good way of putting it, Terry.
it's
Yeah.
a chameleon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it can change. It depends on who's looking at it too.
Mhm.
Whose life it's coming up in, comes up in different ways and different forms. So thank you again. I feel if I'm talking slower, it's because I'm feeling calm. Oh my goodness.
Chill with Jill or calm your chaos.
Yes,
That's
she's here
very, very
on
good.
our chaos.
So Jill will be back with us on July 7th.
Mhm.
For those of you out there that are following Jill with us on Biz Chicks, and we're looking forward to that. And next week we have Dr. Tamika Jackson with us on June 23rd, so that'll be exciting. So we have
I'm looking forward to that.
we have a pack-filled summer of great people that are going to come and help us every Thursday. So
This is wonderful. You always have such great guests. We want to thank you again, Jill. And we want to remind everybody that if you're looking to be a part of Biz Chicks, you can simply text Biz to 33777 and become a part of our community. You will find yourself in the Heartbeat app, and that's where you can put up your profile. Remember that every Thursday, which is today, we do trainings in the BizChick community. So you want to come over there. You should receive a text shortly before 1 today, letting you know when the training is going to start. And we look forward to talking to you. In addition to that, you can reach us through bizchicks.net. And we want you to know it's okay to make money in your business and to go to the front of your own line. So have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.